Hi there, it's Tim with Far North Magic. Today I'm going to be looking at a bunch of the pre-modern sets. We're going to be looking at Tempest through Prophecy. So we're looking at 9 sets and seeing what cards I would think might get reprinted. The first 6 sets are going to be a bit skewed because a lot of the valuable cards are reserve list. So I gotta remember which ones are reserve list or not, and not get tripped up on some cheaper ones. So hopefully I don't screw that up, but we'll take a quick look anyways and see. Well, hopefully a quick look and go from there, I guess. So with Tempest, I suspect that some of the cheap slivers will definitely get hit. I was 100% thinking Ancient Tomb would get hit, but with it being in the box toppers for Lord of the Rings, I now doubt it will get hit. Another card that I would think would be potentially a good hit would be Grindstone. And then others in this would be the Cycle of Medallions would be a really good reprint target, along with like even Miri's Guile. It's and then Lotus Petal, even Squirrel Rack maybe, even though it hasn't really recovered for I think the Commander Legends. Reanimate might be a good target also, even though that's more of a constructed card, just because it is like I don't suspect that they're going to be loading up Commander Masters with only Commander cards. I think that they'll have to put some cards that are like playable in other places. I almost would suspect that they increase Lotus Petal's rarity. Wasteland is, I would think, would be out because it's a box topper for Lord of the Rings as well. And then I don't know, there's not a huge amount of other things that are too exciting. Like Flickering Ward might be a card that would be interesting, just because I don't think it's had a reprint. Yeah, not a huge amount of other things that are too interesting. Maybe Ghost Town might be a good reprint. Just because no reprints good in landfall decks to guarantee like that extra landfall, or I guess guarantee a landfall because you can always like return it to your hand. But like I suspect like the common slivers would, like the muscle sliver and stuff, would be in the sliver deck at least. I don't suspect that there will be tons of slivers in the set, but I think in the commander decks there could be a good target for a lot of the slivers. So we can't suspect that Diamond, Queen, or the Stronghold are in because they're all reserve lists, and with Dream Halls. Grave Pact would be a good inclusion. Burgeoning would be good inclusion. Ensnaring Bridge is in the Lord of the Rings box toppers, so I suspect it would get skipped. Intruder Alarm would be a good card, as it hasn't got reprinted, I think, since I think it was in one of the mystery boosters. But I think it was the retail version as a foil. Constant Mist would be a good target, just because I don't think it's had a reprint. Crystalline Sliver, I would suspect, would probably make the Sliver deck. And yeah, not a huge amount of other things that are too exciting. Like, I would somewhat expect, like, maybe some of these cards, like Wall of Blossoms or Tortured Existence or something, might get, like, swept in and then just crushed down to nothing for the newer version. But, just is what it is. It's hard to guess on those. Next up is Exodus. And, Exodus is a hard set to find stuff that you would find that they target, because there's not a huge amount of value in the non-reserve list cards. So Coat of Arms would be a good reprint. Reconnaissance, as it hasn't got a reprint. Like, even Culling the Weak would be a good target, but, like, I don't know if they'd be, like, targeting. Well, I don't suspect they'd care about $9 commons that are kind of obscure, but Oath of Druids might be worth a look. And Cataclysm, but I don't know how much they're into, like, these board. Well, yeah, I don't know. Cataclysm might be interesting. It was always one of my favorites back in the day. But not a huge amount of other cards that are worth a whole lot. Like, it just drops off pretty fast, and some of those cards are even reserve lists. So, moving on to Urza's Saga. A good chunk of the higher valued cards are reserve lists. So you got some lands, the Drake, the Yawgmoth's Will, Time Spiral, Show and Tell might be interesting target for them to reprint, because it seems to bounce back. Like, it never bounces back to where it was. Like, I remember when Show and Tell was like $100. At least in Canada, it was $100. I don't know if it made it there in the States, but the Argothian Enchantress would be a good reprint, as it's only really got hit hard in Eternal Masters. Exploration, even though it got hit in one of the master sets recently, it might be worth a hit. Phyrexian Tower, maybe. Sneak Attack was in Dominaria Remastered, so I suspect it and Gamble would get left off. Carpet of Flowers might be a good target, just because, like, to get some foils, and because it was, like, in a secret lair, and then mystery boosters. So the secret lair had a foil, but then, like, get some variants out there. Meltdown would be another target that might be worthwhile, just because it hasn't had a reprint, I don't think. Windfall is other times. Greater Good, maybe. Priestess Titania, I would suspect if there's any presence of elves, it should get reprinted. Even Voltaic Key seems expensive to me. But we'd just have to see, I guess. Because it might just be because of the version. Like, maybe the core set version's worth $1, so it would get skipped. Moving on to Urza's Legacy. Again, a lot of the cards at the top are going to be reserve list cards. So your Monolith and Jar, your Hermit and Palicron. I could see them maybe hitting Defense of the Heart. Maybe the Welder, like I've suspected the welders should get hit somewhere along the way. And like I don't suspect they like to put $20 cards in commander decks that are $50. Even though like the $20 card becomes like $5 or less a lot of the time when they do that. Phyrexian Reclamation. Like something like Mother of Runes, they've hit in a couple commander decks, but like I could see them hitting it in Commander Masters to get like some variants out there of it and some extra foils. Maybe Tinker, I don't know. Crop Rotation, Snap, I don't know. It drops off pretty fast in Urza's Legacy. It always kind of was that way, but small set and all. But so next up is Urza's Destiny, and a lot of the value for the bigger cards are going to be a reserve list. So your worker. Metal Worker, your Replenish, the Academy Rector, Hollow Treachery, and Rofellos are all reserve list. They hit Repercussion in a Secret Lair, pretty sure. So they might hit it again. The Incubator was in Dominaria Remastered, so it might get a reprieve. It might still get hit, I don't know. I would think it would get skipped. Elvish Piper might be a good target. As it's always kind of a very Timmy casual card. But might be something to hit. Junk Diver even might be something to hit. I always kind of overlook that card. Looking at Marcadian Mask, we're finally at where there's no reserve list cards, so it's a bit easier to not get tripped up, I guess, for me. I wonder if they reprint Rashidian Port, just because it's been a little while since they reprinted it. I could see Bribery getting reprinted. Food Chain got crushed down pretty bad. Holy cow. That's crazy. I wonder if, like, between Dust Bowl, Port, and Tower Magistrate, if some of those get put in, like, the box toppers instead. Misdirection might be something that gets hit. Not that I think Misdirection's a commander card by any stretch, but just kind of looking at some stuff that seems to be holding up better than I was expecting. I think Ancestral Mask gets hit. $5 commons even from like the turn of the century seem kind of weird. Coastal Piracy would be a good hit to get targeted. I guess they could reprint Brainstorm so we can have like even more variants and more foils that nobody cares about. I wonder if they do these. I think they're the depletion lands, the scary, and I think the depletion lands would be kind of interesting, because they all have like really crazy foil multipliers from what I remember. Like the Peat Bog and stuff. I think the foil was like $15 or $20 last time I looked. It's been a while, but maybe they hit some of these like commons and uncommons that maybe that aren't really worth a whole lot. They just have like, I guess, good feelings, even if they're only going to be like $1. Then off to Nemesis. There's not a whole lot of value in Nemesis. Kind of never was, from what I remember. I didn't play a whole lot with when Nemesis was out. I think I could see Corehaven being either getting caught in the box hoppers for Lord of the Rings, or as a card in the set. Submerge, maybe. I don't know where it gets played even to justify it being anything. I could see some of these, like the Sky Shroud Poacher, or the Mog Catcher, or the Sea Hunter, if there's any of the those tribes in play. Bell-based Portal, maybe. Could be something. Yeah, not a huge amount of other stuff. Maybe Terrain Generator. So, like, it got reprinted in one of the Baldur's Gate Commander decks. So that, like, kicked it down pretty good. Because it was like a 6 or 7. I don't know. It was a lot, considering, like, this Terrain Generator, and it was only in like a dual deck and the anthology and this printing, and like I remember when like all these older printings were like $5 or more, $6. And the foil is like pretty crazy, if I remember correctly. At least it used to be. I don't suspect it went down because there hasn't been a foil edition. Next up is Prophecy. So I pretty much fully expect Rhystic Study to get hit. Just because like it's one of the most Commander cards. Like, it's the only reason why it's worth this much money. Other than that, the value drops off pretty fast. Like, maybe Overburden gets caught, but I don't know. Like, I don't really know if they'll bother with Plague Wind when there are other board wipes that are more pressing. Like Kindred Dominance would make more sense, and then like if you, I don't know, did something else like Toxic Deluge or something as your 2 board wipes for the whole set, not a Plague Wind. Yeah, then you're just into like $1 and $2 cards. Like, it just drops off so fast in Prophecy. Like, it's almost all just like Rhystic Study or nothing. And I guess the foils, because the foils are kind of expensive with that set, considering. But yeah, so I guess that brings an end to this installment of this, and I guess my question is what card do you think is the most likely to get reprinted out of these premodern sets, the Tempest to Prophecy? I'd like to know in the comments if you think something's going to get reprinted that I didn't look at. Thanks again for watching and listening to me ramble on. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Take care, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.